You gotta understand, it's a predator.
I'm gonna show you how to fight this new Grimroar boss, because earlier, it did not spawn, but here it did spawn. So might as well record the video right here, and then I'll go over the build after I kill them. And also I have extraction right here. And the boss is pretty quick too. I'll quickly get these. Alright, so tag for when you get near the boss, he says if you ever get near that book, if you ever see that book, he's gonna bolt because it's a predator. Or he will say that if he ever sees it, he's gonna spit on it because he doesn't like it. So how you fight this book is you click the square and it will spawn in and it will mimic your Warframe. And it will have 10-0 flash, which is, well, neutral to most resistances.
It's wearing your skin, but it's not you. Kill it!
And when it's in this form, you can't kill it, so you have to go and find that book. Now, I don't know if you can kill this book with right weapons. I know you can kill it with your amp bow, so I usually just cast Void Strike with my amp and break the book. And if you take too long to destroy the book, it comes back to life and tries to fight you. So it's best to kill it. And step R, that's how long you have before it comes back to life. So I'm going to destroy it like that. And when it dies, it drops an arcane.
You woke up a bad thing. But then you killed it. So, I guess you did.
Yeah, so mimic your Warframe. Does it mimic all your Warframe's abilities? No, it just mimics the look of your Warframe, and it runs around 10-0 flesh and 10-0 armor, which is neutral to most damage types, so it doesn't take negative nor does it take positive damage. Okie dokie, now I'm going to extract and I'm going to show you what I used to kill the book. I'll also show you the rest of my setup that I use that covers everything in this map except the Murmur boss itself and then Trotty Labs. Now, if you want an easy way to find this book, you can start up a bounty where it says kill this thing. But it can spawn entirely random in any mission.
Come on. Let's at least pretend this mess can still work.
Now, I personally prefer using Loadout for it because I can just burst damage into its face, kill it, move on. Also, the Loadout shreds the Necramechs too, so I just pillage twice and then I Loadout a Necramech and call it a day. Alright, so I'll show you the build that I used to kill the ghost thing, because yes, you can also do it in Trotty Labs with this, and this one weapon alone is enough to kill it in Trotty Labs. I am not joking, I have sold several Trotty Labs before, with just this pistol alone. It's not as hard as most people put it up to be. So I went with more fire rate, so that way it just shoots faster, auto reload because it's nice. You switch to your primary or melee and this thing auto reloads for you. This does not affect Incarnate form because Incarnate has its own ammo pool and doesn't reload. Critical chance, so I get the plus 2000 damage when not landing a crit, 50% chance at base to proc. So, if you're wondering the build, here you go. Secondary Encumber, just so it procs every element in the game, except void damage. If you're wondering why Incarnate Stinger, it's just there for utility. Say I'm running a frame but doesn't have sure-footed or status immunity ability. I perform a heavy attack, there we go, I get bullet evasion, I get status immunity. Or if I'm running a Warframe but has status immunity, but doesn't have sure-footed, because some status immunity abilities do not make you stagger immune. Hildren's status immunity, when she's at overshields, does not make you stagger immune. The new Warframe's status immunity does not make you stagger immune. It makes you status immune, but not stagger immune. And an Augur Pact is just there so I get passive shields whenever I cast ability. For some reason, this procs on Hildren sometimes, not all the time, but it does proc on her. So keep note of that. Alright, we'll move down to accept the Intrati Labs. I'm back. My headset died. Alright, so what I was gonna say is, yeah, so the other weapons are just for the Intrati Labs, they're not for the boss itself. I run Bubonico because it has unlimited ammo, and I can run Corrosive Heat, Radiation, Bleed on the AoE, and most enemies in the Intrati Labs are weak to Radiation and Corrosive, so that comes in handy. And also Viral just makes them take more damage, so, yeah. And Bleeds is good for good damage over time. And it's good for horde clearing too on trash mobs. Stropha is just there to kill like the Xmas units or anything that survives the Bubonico. You can run whatever melee you wish. I just personally prefer Stropha, so I'll show you the build quickly. If you do not have Atomic Fallout, swap that out for the other thing, which is Vicious Spread. If you don't have a Riven, just put Heat Mod in there. Any Heat Mod works. Scattering Inferno, Blaze, whatever. Just any Heat Mod. Stropha. If you're wondering my Stropha build, that's just it. Just a pure heavy attack build. The usual. You can run any melee. Like I said, my focus school is just there because versus nothing else. It's not important. Parazon, you can run whatever mods you want on your Parazon. I run this mod config for every mission I do because it just comes in handy. You auto hack, you move faster, and you go invisible. It's so good. Now, Warframe. You can run whatever you want. I personally prefer Hildren because she's so versatile and covers everything, every single objective in the Intrati Labs, except the vaults and the Murmur boss. Due to her armor strip, I can make enemies more vulnerable to damage. With her Haven, I can keep allies alive, and also I can make enemies kill themselves from shooting me, or take damage over time. Can set them ablaze, which is good CC. Gloom makes it so they can't move as often, and also slows them down. And if something happens to bypass my shields, which is very, very rare, Gloom heals me. And you're probably like, why are you keeping Aegis Storm? Why don't you just run Gloom over her 4 and keep her Balefire? Because every other weapon in this game actually hits harder than her Balefire. Her Balefire is actually overhyped. I'm going to be dead honest with you. And her 4 is actually very underrated. Her 4 duplicates power cells. Her 4 duplicates energy. Her 4 hard crowd control, so enemies get hoisted into the air and cannot move. Her 4 is sentient. You're like, what? What do you mean sentient? Just like Umbra, how he fights when you hop in your Opera, she does the same. Not to the amount of Umbra, but close enough. You hop in your Opera, she keeps her 4 active. And you can spawn in call and on-call inspectors and just go in your Opera and kill shit as she just keeps everything frozen, locked in place. And if you're doing the Fortuna bounty, the one where you have to grab those canisters before the enemies do, and you have to stand there for a bit and then it captures it, you can actually capture 2 canisters at once with her. You can Aegis Storm at 1 canister, Operator, go over to the next canister, she will capture that canister before you capture your canister. Then you can transfer her over to the canister your Opera's at and move over to the other canister, and you can just do 2 canisters at once with her. Not many people know that. And that her 4 gives you her passive, her shield gate passive, where when shields hit 0, you get exactly 3.5 seconds of total invincibility. Another thing people don't know, because I discovered, is every single Hildren I counter in missions never uses Haven. And as a Hildren main, I shake my head seeing that every day. So I got my buddy, that also mains Hildren, to do a little science experiment with me. I told him to cast Haven. I did not keep any status immunity abilities up, and I deliberately got overshields. And with overshields, I was status immune. Exactly like Hildren with overshields, where she is status immune, and effects that bypass shields don't bypass her shields. I noticed that on my frame when she gave me her Haven. So keep that in mind. And use that to your advantage. Why Archon Stretch? You're probably wondering. She doesn't have energy. Why Archon Stretch? Yes, she does not have energy, but energy still affects her. Energy makes her shields... Energy resets her shield recharge delay and gives her 25 shields per energy picked up. So that's why Archon Stretch is there. So if I pick up a Wisp Mote, free energy. Or free shields in my case. Or if the Riga shocks something with Arc Coil, free shields. So that's why that's there. If you're wondering the Dorica build, here's the Dorica build. You don't need a rim mod, you can just run a cold mod. Like that. And then you can just remove Vig supplies for heat mod. Now you're wondering why Vig supplies is there to buff my primary weapon. And if it's a weapon where he has Vig supplies, yeah, it has no effect. Well, sorta. It slightly buffs it, not to the point where it's worth noticing or caring about, but it does slightly buff it. That's probably a bug on DE's part, and they have to fix that at some point. But take advantage of that while it exists. So even, and also if a weapon, say a weapon has Vig supplies on it, Evo Vig supplies on my Sentinel, that's there. So if I'm in circuit, I'm not screwed. Because I don't have a pet in circuit, or anyone has a pet in circuit, unless you're playing core. That's the only way you can have a companion in circuit. Because of her passive. I still get Vigilante supplies, because it's on my weapon. So I get it. Even though my Sentinel's gone, I still get the set buff, and I still get the ammo conversion. So yeah, there you go. Mech, the mech and arc weapon doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. You can run whatever the hell you want, so I'm not going to show a build for that shit. But I will tell you one thing: if you're in the Entrati Labs and you see a computer, you can hack the computer if it has the mech logo on it, and the mech, your personalized mech will spawn, and then you can run around with your mech in the Entrati Labs. Here's a tip to hacking the panels. Both in the Entrati raids and in the reg missions, you can use the cipher to auto-hack them. But if you don't have a cipher, or you just want to hack them without hold X, that's it. Just hold X and it auto hacks it for you. So yeah, there you go. That's how you handle the Ghost Kid. I was planning to do a video where I start up the mission and then get to the Ghost Kid. But because there's no bounty, when I went to record that...
What do you think?
Of the Ghost Kid.
Of course.
And I attempted an RNG one and it didn't spawn. I decided to just go around casually doing my own stuff in Entrati Labs. Get my own stuff done. And then I accidentally found it spawned, so I'm like, shit, I should probably record a video on this guy since it's here and not waste this opportunity. So yeah, there you go. That's how you handle the Ghost Kid. That's how you kill the Mocking Whisper and the Entrati Labs.